Okay. College football playoff rankings coming out tonight. Um, I still think, by the way, I still think that they are going to end up putting Tennessee number one over Georgia. I don't know why. I just feel like that's going to be the thing. I feel like it's going to absolutely uh, be some bulletin board material, free bulletin board material for Georgia. I don't think Tennessee is better than Georgia. I mean, I'm the only person in America who looks at Tennessee and goes, they're going to get got. Somebody's going to beat them. Somebody's going to beat them, and it's probably going to be this week. Um, and this is not a team that to me has national champion written all over it. Not with that pass defense. So, and one of the things that when the committee looks at, they'll start to look at flaws tonight. Like which team has flaws? I mean, what is the most impressive win? But what is your biggest wart that you have in order to prevent you from being number one? Right? Like Ohio State doesn't really have a wart other than the fact that their toughest game so far is Penn State, but they did beat Wisconsin and they also beat Notre Dame. Michigan, their toughest win so far was over Penn State, and they probably handled Ohio State a lot better than. I'm sorry, Michigan probably handled Penn State better than Ohio State did. Uh, how much stock do you put in Georgia's win over Oregon versus Tennessee's win over Alabama? You know, um, there is that. So I think you're going to see, and again, I think the other part of what you're going to see tonight is, what the rest of the top 10 look like because so much of what the the committee does is about positioning for the following week and the week after. Like they're looking at schedules down the road and the possibility of X, Y, and Z and figuring this out. Um, I would be rather upset if Clemson was in the top six. That's bothersome to me. There's no metrics about Clemson to me that says they belong there. Um, I mean, if you want to sit there and tell me wins at Wake Forest, which they had to go to overtime to, at NC State and versus Syracuse at home that they were trailing in that game, those are the ranked opponents that they've played. I don't know that they are as good as their 8-0 record says. Listen, I've watched Clemson a ton. I've bet on them a ton. I have a good feel, I think, for where this team is offensively and defensively. That said, I don't think they're going to lose a game the rest of the year. They'll go 8. They'll go 12-0, and they'll probably beat North Carolina in the ACC championship game. But I still think this could be the year where we leave out an undefeated Power Five in favor of other teams that are out there. I think if Tennessee loses to Georgia and doesn't make the SEC championship game, I think they have a better resume than Clemson does. If Oregon runs the table, I think they have a better resume than Clemson does. TCU, if they are undefeated, even with a loss, I mean, it depends on who the loss is to, but they don't have any ranked opponents left. TCU, but let's say, you know, a somehow a 2-loss Oklahoma State team or a 2-loss Kansas State team beats TCU in their conference championship game. I still think there's an argument that TCU has a better resume than Clemson. It just there's nothing about Clemson to me that says that they are one of the 4 best teams in the country, other than the fact that they have a 0 in the loss column. And for whatever reason, the public lives off that. You guys love that 0 in the loss column. You can't get past it. You cannot get past it. I don't know why. Um, I don't know why there's a lack of objectivity there. I understand it's hard to go undefeated and why so few teams do it, but I don't think Clemson should be anywhere in the top 6. Top 4. I'd probably put them 6. Like I said yesterday, I would have Clemson, Michigan at 6 and 5 respectively. Yes, I'm putting Oregon at 4. Ohio State at 3, Tennessee at 2, Georgia at 1. And, oh, by the way, Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic, who covers this sport as good as anybody does, she put out a column that said 4 questions that the committee's going to ask tonight. And the second one there, after who's number one, is what does the committee make of Oregon? You know what the committee should make of Oregon? That they are one of the top 4 teams in the country right now. Bottom line, I'm telling you guys, you Georgia fans, you stopped watching Oregon at halftime of week 1. You flat out did. And, oh, by the way, like, tell me how quirky this is, because this feels like it would be one of the weirdest things we've ever seen. Just imagine that Georgia ends up number 1 overall, and you end up with Oregon at number 4. Okay, that would put Georgia in the Peach Bowl against Oregon. Get this, guys. That's the same exact venue that Georgia and Oregon played to open the season. Same city, same venue, same teams, same presenting sponsor, Chick-fil-A, right? Like all these same things coming back to start the season and almost close out the season. Pretty weird, right? I mean, I'm there for that. Part of me is there for that. I'm all in. Sign me up. I can do that. I 100% can do that. But Oregon deserves all of the love in the world. And if you don't believe that, then you're just clearly not paying attention. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. That is a legit team and is a complete team as there is in the country. They haven't had a game like Georgia had against Missouri. They haven't had a game like Tennessee had against Florida. They didn't have a win where Ohio State, struggled with Penn State into the fourth quarter of that game. Haven't had it. Other than the Georgia game where they got smoked, and I'm not saying they didn't. But at that point in time, they lost to the best team in the country, undoubtedly, and no one thought otherwise. Lots changed in 8 weeks, guys. A lot, 9 weeks. A lot has changed in 9 weeks. And it should. You shouldn't be the same team in week 1 that you are in week 9. Or you shouldn't be the same team in week 9 that you are in week 1. So, a lot of time left, though. A lot of time left. All right. Got to get the shovels of wisdom. And boy, it was ugly last night for the Hawks. Should it raise some concerns? We'll discuss that. First, a word from our friends at Built Bar. Have you guys tried Built Bar Puffs yet? Oh, you are missing out. Depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. New flavor that they got, covered in chocolate. It's cookie dough chunk, and they are delicious. Real cookie dough chunks in them, guys. They are delicious. They're only 160 calories. They got a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. I mean, this is the perfect snack for you any time of day or night. When you're hungry in between meals, when you want something sweet before you go to bed, this is what you grab, a Built Bar. Go to Built.com, snag a box for yourself, get one for the family, buy one, put it in the office desk when you get hungry at work, kind of get your little pick-me-up in the middle of the day. I mean, I'm telling you, these things are absolutely perfect. A real cookie dough chunks, as I told you, that makes it so sweet. It hits the spot perfectly. But 100% real chocolate. They're healthy for you. They're tasty. They are amazing with a light, fluffy texture. Go to Built.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDON15. Get 15% off your order. Use the promo code LOCKEDON15 to get Built Bar Puffs. New cookie dough chunk, guys. Absolutely amazing.